Hello, friends. There are some very serious events happening on our planet right now. The world is watching the fighting breaking out in the Middle East and the growing conflict between Palestine and Israel, which is killing people, destroying buildings, and forcing hundreds of thousands of people to become refugees. All of this is accompanied by gunfire, violence, blood being shed, tears flowing, and people experiencing incredible pain. We hope that people will be able to remember their sanity and find ways to peacefully resolve all the conflicts that are now breaking out and raging around the world. After all, even beyond wars, the events happening around us are often perplexing and disturbing. Cataclysms are becoming more and more devastating, shaking the world every day. In the United States, there was an explosion in the town of Woodstock, Illinois. The explosion occurred as a result of a gas leak that led to the destruction of a residential building and subsequent fire. As you can see in the photos, the building was completely turned into ruins. This house was purchased by a young family just a year ago and they lost all their possessions due to this tragedy. However, most importantly, all the inhabitants of the house remained alive. Preliminarily, the cause of the explosion was the ongoing repair work. The work crew was repairing the sewage system and unfortunately damaged the gas line, which led to the subsequent explosion. In addition to the destruction of the apartment building, 10 other buildings in the neighborhood were damaged, including a church and a school. No serious injuries have been reported at this time, but 2 firefighters have been hospitalized. Southeastern Brazil is now being hit by prolonged rainfall. The national government has declared a state of emergency in 60 cities. The sewage system failed to cope with the abundant rainfall, and soon after the downpour began, streets began to flood with water. Traffic was suspended, many houses were submerged, and education in schools and universities was temporarily halted. In some areas, people have been forced to travel by inflatable boats. At least 2 fatalities have been reported so far. Emergency services are actively organizing the evacuation of residents of the affected communities and engaging divers for rescue operations. There may be people who have been carried away by the torrents of water. Residents are urged not to try to fight the disaster on their own and follow the instructions of rescuers. Traffic on the country's main highways is blocked and there is also information about flight delays at local airports. According to meteorologists' forecasts, the bad weather will last in the region until at least the middle of the week, so locals should be ready for the situation to develop. Currently, Tropical Storm Lydia is moving toward the west coast of Mexico. Meteorologists are warning of the approach of this element accompanied by heavy rainfall, which could cause the danger of landslides. At the moment, the speed of hurricane winds has reached 105 kilometers per hour. The authorities are putting all emergency services on standby. It is known that Lydia has already approached the coast, currently over the Marias Islands. Witnesses to the events share video footage, which shows heavy rains and powerful winds. Up to 300 millimeters of rain is forecast to fall in some areas by midweek. Locals are urged to postpone planned trips and evacuate low-lying areas if possible. In addition, it is warned of high waves on the coast, which will reach several meters, so emergency services close beaches and prohibit approaching water bodies as locals and tourists. Weather troubles did not pass by China, where a hurricane of such power forced the Hong Kong Stock Exchange to cancel morning trading. Typhoon China, which translates as black, brought heavy rains and strong winds. Already in the morning, the city has received more than 150 millimeters of rainfall. Streets are in chaos, with wind gusts bringing down power lines, uprooting trees and damaging buildings. Local schools, kindergartens, and universities have suspended classes. Residents are being asked not to leave their homes. Flight delays in most trains have also been reported, forcing hundreds of passengers to spend the night at airports and train stations. Authorities have declared a state of emergency in the city. So far, there is no information about casualties or fatalities. The duration of Typhoon China's presence in Hong Kong remains unknown. Afghanistan, which was hit by a massive earthquake on Saturday, October 7th, is hoping for international help. The country's government authorities are appealing to other countries and international organizations to provide urgent support. According to the Provincial Office of the Ministry of Disaster Management, the death toll from the earthquake in Herat province is nearing 25,000. Rescuers continue to intensify efforts in the search for the missing, as some people may be under the rubble. Recall that in the west of Afghanistan there was a series of earthquakes with a magnitude of 6.4, and this earthquake, according to the media, has become one of the most destructive in recent times in terms of death toll. More than 1,300 homes have been destroyed and the province has experienced severe communication problems. Several nations, including Kazakhstan, China, and Pakistan, have already pledged to send humanitarian aid to Afghanistan. The victims will receive food, medicine, clothing, and other essentials. Cameroon also faced the aftermath of natural disasters when a landslide occurred in Yaoundé due to heavy rains. Mud flows mixed with rocks covered residential areas. According to the latest reports, at least 30 people have died and the exact number of injured is still unknown. Eyewitnesses describe what is happening as something similar to bomb explosions. In addition, rescue operations have been hampered due to the Mephiou River overflowing its banks, causing several neighborhoods to be flooded. At the moment, emergency services are working around the clock in the affected region and the exact amount of damage caused is still being calculated. Dear friends, what are your personal views on the events taking place in the world, be it natural disasters or international conflicts, including the situation between Israel and Palestine? Please express your thoughts and opinions in a correct manner. We are all ordinary people and strive for peace and harmony. It is also interesting to know your opinion on whether Afghanistan will receive aid after the earthquake, given the complex geopolitical circumstances and the attitude towards the regime in Kabul. Please share your views in the comments. I wish all of us peace and goodness, take care of ourselves and our common home, our planet. Let us always remain people with a capital letter.